So first, I'll be using my LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I'm just applying that concealer all over my eyelids, and then I'm going to blend it out using my fingers. So first, I'll be using my Too Faced Natural Eyes palette, and I'm just using the shade Nude. I usually use nude in almost all of my eye looks, just because I feel like nude is the perfect shade to start a nice look. Next, I'll be using my Morphe palette. I'm honestly not sure what the exact color of the shade is. I completely forgot, but it's kind of like a soft pinkish brown, but I'm just applying that right underneath and on top of the nude shade, and I'm just going to blend it in. Now I'm going in with the same Morphe palette. I'm just using a browner, like a tannish shade, and now I'm going to apply this in my crease. So for this look, I did a cut crease. So right now I'm just applying some concealer, and I'm just cutting my crease using my concealer brush that I usually use. The shade that I'm using for my concealer, I think it's called medium beige, but I'm just using a shade lighter than my own. Next, I'm just going to use some baking powder from the Makeup Revolution brand in the shade Banana, just to set that cut crease. So since this is a holiday glam look, I wanted to add at least some type of glitter or sparkle to my eye. So right here, I'm using a mixture of both my Too Faced palette and my Morphe palette. I'm using gold shimmer shades in both palettes, and I'm just applying that to my cut crease. So once I'm done with the shimmer shades, I'm going back in with my Morphe palette, and I'm using a deeper shade of brown just to blend out the outer corner of my cut crease. So you'll see me going back to the same Morphe palette and using some of the same shades that I used in the beginning, and I'm just doing that to add more color in my crease. So now that I'm done with my eye look, I'll just be applying mascara and applying my lashes on top of that. The lashes that I'm wearing are actually from the beauty supply store, so if I can figure out the exact name, I'll put that in my description. Onto my face, I'll be using foundation from Juvia's Place, and I'm just being very cautious while applying this because a little bit really does go a long way with this foundation. So I'm just going to blend this foundation out really, really well. Now onto my concealer, I would just be using two different shades. I'm using Cool Tan, the shade that's closest to my own skin tone, and I'm using Medium Beige, a shade that's a bit lighter than my own skin tone, and I'm using the shade a bit lighter than my own skin tone just to brighten up the areas that I place the concealer. So y'all, one thing I never do when doing my makeup is contour because I don't understand it. Or it's not that I don't understand it, but it's like I don't really see a purpose in doing it. But I decided to try it today, and so I used one of the brown shades in the Morphe palette, and I'm just applying that, you know, acting like I know what I'm doing. I kind of do, but I'm just blending that out with my foundation brush just to make sure no lines or the brown isn't too harsh on my skin. So now I'm just going to be baking and setting my face. So I'm applying that same baking powder underneath my eyes, on my forehead, on my chin, on my nose, and then I'm just going to blend it out. So after baking, I'm going in with my highlight, and this highlight is from Wet n Wild. I bought it off Amazon for like $3, and when I tell y'all this is the best highlight I've used, this is honestly like the second highlight I've ever used, but this highlight is amazing. So on to my lips, I'm using a lip liner from the brand NK, and I actually got this from my local beauty supply store, and this is just in a shade of brown. So on to my actual red lip, I just use MAC's liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Feels So Grand. Y'all, I love this shade of lip. It's either this shade or Ruby Woo. So this concludes my holiday glam look with the red lip. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this video useful. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.